Uh, yeah, last day of June, 30th of June. Nice temperature and everything, but uh, as you can see, the electricity is out. That's only from the phone. Yeah, it's almost 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I was just the other day. I went out with the group of, you could say, Baladeva Vidyabhushana. Yeah, you could say the group of Baladeva Vidyabhushana. And you better not say Baladeva Vidyabhushana is Gaudiyacharya within their confines. And I would also think the Baladeva Vidyabhushana would think you very foolish to go into the midst of them and say Gaudiya Vedanta Charya. So maybe the people that have seen me, knowing me, and all of a sudden they're seeing me with the personalities who are claiming that Baladeva Vidyabhushana has nothing to do with Gaudiya. Although he wrote the Govinda Bhasya, they'll admit to that. But then you want to understand, what is this sectarian boundary? Oh, now somebody is seeing wrong and now he's going to be part of the Gaudiya. He's not any longer part of Sri Sampradaya or Shamananda Pandit or Rasikananda. That he's seen as wrong. He's seen as wrong. Well, I don't blame them for getting upset when somebody pushes that situation on them. And Baladeva Vidyabhushana, being their leader and being the main deities in Radhashama Sundar are Baladeva Vidyabhushana's deities. So they're great followers. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was there. These personalities did not see sectarian boundaries. That's the cutting point. And they were able to appreciate without destroying. Whereas with people with weak ability to understand, they have to group. They have to get together and group. Baladeva Vidyabhushana, from my understanding, he wasn't just with Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Vrindavan, and he wasn't just sent for that purpose to Jaipur. He had a temple there. He was running a temple. He had disciples there, very faithful disciples following him there. He had disciples, and not just a few, a lot of disciples. And he was able to understand that, and I don't want to say higher, but understand the Gaudiya philosophy. So he embraced it in that manner. But to then think that, oh, he embraced it so deeply that he's called the Gaudiya Vedanta Acharya, then he must have given up on the other, seeing that something was wrong. No, he didn't. They were dependent on him. They were disciples of him. They were serving so nicely. He saw no reason, if perhaps some of them would like to know more, then of course he would introduce them. But to obligate and change, okay, now and you would have to be very, very elevated. Because first Baldev Vibhushan was Sri Sampradaya, but he's got that whole mood of the Ramanandis of philosophy. Just philosophy, just philosophy, just philosophy. Not so much puja. And then he, in all his books, and did many books, in all his books, he never mentioned taking initiation in Madhvacharya's line. But in a biography of his, autobiography, he does mention it in the introduction to the book, that he did. So, but he didn't ask all his followers and everything to accept. He didn't do that. And then further down the line, when he comes to Vrindavan and he meets Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, who's Ras Acharya in the Gaudiya line, I even fail to see the importance or the necessity of saying Gaudiya line to make some differentiation. Because even Mahaprabhu, when he exchanged with the followers of Madhvacharya, when he exchanging, he made a point, but not a point of like pushing something in somebody's face. He said that yes, that is your philosophy, but mine is other. That's it. He didn't push anything in their face. He didn't say, oh, mine is higher than yours. Yours is incomplete. We as followers, we have that tendency to take the different philosophies, distinguish the different philosophies. You know, we're just all just studying. We aren't feeling. We're just distinguishing and putting them in different little corners. Oh, this is Advaitavad. Oh, this is Advaitavad. Oh, this is such and such. And this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's. We have this tendency to do that. But it's not that the establishers didn't appreciate or understand Achintya, Veda, Abheda, Tattva, which Mahaprabhu came to give. It's not that they didn't understand it, they didn't comprehend it, but they had the followers, and this is what they're presenting to their followers. This is what they see that their followers can digest and uplift themselves and everything. And I was surprised to find out. I had known that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was with Vallabhacharya. He is Pushti Marg. Anybody in Gujarat knows Pushtimar. He was in Pushtimar. It was with Vallabhacharya, associating with him, and where? In Benares, of all the places. And Vallabhacharya just hears a disciple of him who's dressed like a Muslim, who later on is known as Rupa Goswami. At a distance, he says, Namo Mahavarnaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurtivshe Namaha. He hears such a, and he understands it. And he's just amazed. So later on, Vallabhacharya, he became known as the conqueror of all philosophy, the knower of all philosophy. You know, he was like, in all of India, he was, at that point, he was just the conqueror of all the persons. But then he just simply runs into the group of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Puri. And of course he recognizes everybody there, and he recognizes who he thought was the seat of Sankaracharya. He's sitting there listening to Mahaprabhu, and they're discussing things, and then he starts understanding there's something here that I want. There's something here that I want. And he does approach Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu tells him, go take Gopal mantra from Gadadhar Pandit. So here is Vallabhacharya taking instructions. Is he any less? If you say that to his followers, if you say such a thing to his followers, you'll get nowhere. He's not less. Nor is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thinking that he's less. And he sends them to take the Gopal mantra. Clean, Krishnaya, Govindaya, Gopichana, Ballavaya, Swaha. That is our Gaudiya Gayatri. That's important to know. We have Om, Bhur, Bhuva, Swa, Tat. We have that in our Diksha. But the mantra given to Brahma is the Gopal mantra. It's not that other mantra. And it's given through the flute song. It is not. Maybe the medium is still Gayatri, the wife of Brahma. Maybe the medium is that. But the Gopal mantra is given to him through the flute song of Krishna. So here he is passing it down. Gadadhar Pandit is giving it to Vallabhacharya. Is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all of a sudden to say, okay, now you're a Gaudiya? Why would such a thing happen? Well, it wouldn't happen with Baladeva Vibhushan either. Well, I'm losing energy here. This might just go off. So anyways, I did Prikram with that group. And maybe some personalities didn't like the situation, but I was amazed. The leader, Krishna, Gopalananda Mahant, well, he just had a hernia operation. And not some hernia operations don't have difficulties, but he had difficulties. And he generally does not do Rath Yatra here because he has temple in Orissa. And they all want him to go there. But he was in so much difficulty. You couldn't see it. But he was in so much difficulty. And his leg, from what I could see, was swollen. So I went, my Lord, And here he is putting everything together. Because his Rath Yatra cart has not been used for so long. And all of a sudden he had to put his Rath Yatra cart. And they make these carts so high, and the wires are all over the place. Some of the wires break when we go. I just can't believe all this. So all of a sudden I said, oh, okay, now he's going to ride. He's just got operation. Legs aren't looking good. He'll ride. And generally when he does a yatra, Soba Yatra, he has these umbrellas above his head, and he has all this decoration. Well, no umbrella. No umbrella. And he picked up the broom. And I was just like sitting on my cart, waiting for everything to get going. We got going late, as usual. And I said, oh my Lord. Okay, now what is he going to do? Well, he swept all the way through the parade. You gotta stop and think. The man is leader. He is, his family is the owner of 35 different Baladeva Vijabhushan temples just here in Vraj. But of course, so much difficulty and legal things. But he's not giving up. And some of them he's already grabbed. And he's running his temple, Radhashama Sundar. And then all of a sudden, on top of all this, surgery and it didn't go well, and this, that, and the other, and here he is, and it did start out hot, but by blessings, we got some nice wind, a little cloud cover, and we didn't start going until 5 o'clock, so the sun was already going down, but he walked, and he broomed. Well, I am not going to go up to him and say that Baladeva Vijabhushan is Gaudiya Vedanta Acharya. I am not going to claim that. Not in front of him. I think my sampradaya would be a little angry at me for such a thing. I'm also got to take the joke, because Srila Prabhupada, he took Vishnu Sahasranam, because it's such an important verses, and he gave that taste of Gaudiya in it. So whenever he would put the word Krishna, he would put the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then I read a comment by one of the leaders of Sri Sampradaya. And he made a distinction. He says, I have taken out all of these Supreme Personality of Godhead and presented to you the pure Vishnu Sahasranam. But that's so beautiful. He acknowledges, you know. He acknowledges, he didn't have to say that, you know, that he didn't have to say. But he makes a point to saying that, yes, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami has put personality of Godhead, Supreme Personality of Godhead. He didn't have to say that, but he said it. And that just like made me feel so good that, you know, this is a way that, okay, I'm almost having to accept your way of thought. Yeah. I hope this recorded nicely. I hope devotees don't fall into this whole thing of Vallabhacharya his followers even have called him Mahaprabhu, and even in Govardhan there's a place, I think it's near Govindakund, where this is the seat of Mahaprabhu, meaning Vallabhacharya. But it's no time for sectarianism. It'd be just so foolish. Whether the followers accept or follow Achintya Veda Aveda Tattva, it doesn't really matter. We don't have to push the fact. It's not conducive. Mahaprabhu took Vallabhacharya and showed him, we accept you, but we know the work you have to do. And his guru, who gave him the Diksha of the Gopal mantra, he's feeling he's still following him by continuing Pushtimar. Who would want to interfere in that way? It'd be just foolishness. It'd be total foolishness. And I hope you understood that Baldev Vibhushan, he already had a temple in Jaipur. He was already going back and forth. he already had connections there. Yes, he went to debate of the existence or the possibility that Radha can stand to the left of Krishna. He's the one who debated this. But look how long it takes. It's not that it happened one day to the next. Rupa Goswami and them, they and Jiva Goswami, who's the Acharya of Siddhanta, he says that Vishnu Priya can sit, or I have her sitting, can sit to the left of Nimai Pandit. He says Rupa Goswami and them, they placed Radha to the left. But even during their time, Narottam Das Thakur, now Narottam Das Thakur is in Manipur, but also he goes down for his festival, Kachari festival. He's going to establish Gaudiya principles. And he's got 5 deities. I can't remember all the names. Radha Mohan, Radha Raman. But it's a singular deity. He is not breaking the system. And Gauranga personally appears. Or in a dream, Gauranga tells him that I'm in a rice bed. And his name is Gauranga Vallavi, which is Vishnupriya and Gauranga. But it's a singular deity. So you can see the cultural effect that even up to the time of Narottam Das Thakur, 1574 to 78, maybe 80, not very clear on the exact date, he's going to establish, because there's 50 different groups fighting each other, and they're not getting it across, they're just not getting it across. And here is the Gaudiya Vaishnavism is already, 1532, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaves, 1570s, it's a mess, just a fighting mess. So if one looks, Lokanath Swami has definitely got a samadhi there in Radha Gokulananda. So he was there. And who is near him? Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And what has Gopal Bhatta Goswami got? Well, he helped with the Hari Bhakta Vilas. He helped with Satkriya Dipika, which gives all the process. And here, Lokanath Swami, he is the guru of Narottam Das. So he wants a big festival. He wants Gaudiya Vaishnavism established in Bengal using Gopal Bhatta Goswami Satkriya Deepika. Some people are saying that it may not have been his. Well, they're so close together, Gopal Bhatta Goswami and here Lokanath Swami, just right down, what is it, maybe a house away from each other. They can't get it together. No. He's saying this is the best way to bring everything together. Here, all the rules, regulations, and how to do something is all going to be established, and people don't have to be like speculating and fighting about their ways of doing things. Again, sectarianism. It's really destructive. So that helped Gaudiya Vaishnavism to come into being, to be organized. But this is all the way back in 1570s, 80s. 150 years later, we're finally getting someone in Vrindavan to establish the validity of Radha standing next to Krishna. And of course, Janava Devi, she was a great fighter, women's libs, women's libs. No, she was a great personality, She brought 2 Radhas to Vrindavan just to establish him on the left of Krishna. So these were things that took time to be introduced, and maybe even introduced, but took a lot of time to be accepted. I have to just come back to the subject matter and say that I really enjoyed the Rath Yatra. And I really was amazed on how the Mahant, Krishna Gopalananda, was able to walk through all that. So, a little bit more careful with sectarianism. Don't make it destructive. Make it pretty. Yeah, make it pretty. Make it palatable. Not destructive of another's way. Yeah. Okay. Still, I'm telling you, this I got to mention it. This would be a joke. To the world, this would be a joke. We don't have electricity here. It's not because of Vrindavan and Mathura. Our electricity has to go through Delhi, okay? Capital of India, Delhi, capital. And those cables that go through Delhi, they go through the parliament area, the government parliament area. So what has happened is the plant that's in Punjab, can you imagine? The parliament area of Delhi is depending on a electrical plant. They probably have other support plants, but they're mainly dependent on this Punjab plant to send the electricity down to Delhi, and then Delhi gives us what we can have. I think the world would crack up, fall down laughing on the floor that it has been set up this way, because there's so much advancement here, but you haven't got electricity. As a matter of fact, this isn't bad because this is cool, but it was hot. It was hot, no electricity. Okay, let's hope everything comes together. Hare Krishna.